You know, in the world of strategy, we're always trying to predict what's just around the corner. But what if there's a better way? What if, instead of just preparing for the predictable, you could build a strategy that's resilient enough for almost anything? Well, today we're going to explore that exact shift in mindset, how to stop planning for what's next and start planning for what's possible. This quote right here, it just nails it. It's a fundamental change in how you think. See, planning for what's next is kind of reactive. You're just getting ready for the next logical step. But planning for what's possible, wow, that opens up a whole universe of outcomes, and it makes your organization truly adaptive. And look, this isn't just some nice idea. It has a massive, measurable impact. According to McKinsey, companies that use this approach, it's called scenario planning, they outperform their competitors by a staggering 33% during major disruptions. 33%. I mean, think about that. That's the difference between just surviving a crisis and actually thriving in it. So what's really going on here? Well, traditional planning, it kind of assumes the future is a single, straight road, predictable, linear. But scenario planning, it admits a much more realistic truth. The future isn't one road, it's a whole bunch of branching paths. It's about being ready for a range of futures, not just the one you expect.
Okay, so that all sounds great in theory, but does it actually work in the real world? Oh yeah. To really see its power, let's look at a company that has mastered this for decades and gained a huge advantage because of it.
And that company is Shell. Get this, they've been using scenario planning since the 1970s. This is how they saw the big oil crises of that decade coming, way before their rivals were ready. They used it to navigate huge shifts in energy demand, and today they're using it to prepare for things like climate regulations. See, they don't just react, they adapt. It's a huge part of why they're still a global leader. All right, so you're probably wondering, how do I actually do this? It's not as complicated as you might think. Let's break down a simple but super effective framework for building your own set of possible futures. The very first step is to pick one single, major force of change. This could be a tech disruption like AI, a shift in government policy, a change in what your customers want. The key is to focus on one big what if. So once you have that big trend locked in, your job is to build three completely different worlds around it. One where everything goes right for you, one where it all goes wrong, and one that nobody sees coming. Let's start with the fun one, the best case. In this future, that big trend you identified plays out perfectly for your company. AI supercharges your growth, the new regulations actually help your business model. Basically, everything goes your way. What does that world look like? Okay, now we gotta flip it. This is the worst case. Here, that same trend creates massive problems. That new tech makes your product obsolete, or the regulations pile on huge new costs. This scenario is all about finding your biggest weaknesses. But this third one, the wild card, this is where the real magic happens. This isn't just some boring middle ground between best and worst. No way. It's an unexpected, but still totally plausible, future. What if that trend has some weird sideways impact no one is even thinking about? This is where true strategic creativity really shines. Now, building these scenarios is a fantastic exercise, but the real value comes from what you do next. You have to use these imagined futures to really pressure test the strategy you have today. This is how you turn ideas into action. And that brings us to the first critical question you have to ask. Take your current strategic plan and hold it up against each of those three futures you just imagined. Does it survive the worst case? Is it ambitious enough for the best case? And does it even make sense in that weird wildcard world? And right after that comes this second and maybe the most important question of all. Based on that stress test, what would you do differently starting right now? What actions, what investments, what shifts would make your strategy tougher and more robust across all those possible futures? This is what moves you from just thinking to actually doing. So why go through all this trouble? Because the payoff is enormous. I mean, truly enormous. Embracing this way of thinking fundamentally changes how you operate and gives you a powerful, lasting competitive edge. When you plan for multiple futures, you can make those big, long-term decisions with so much more confidence. When disruptions come, and they won't catch you completely off guard. You shift your whole organization's culture from just reacting to being truly adaptive. And like we saw with that 33% number, you put yourself in a position to outperform everyone else when things get turbulent. So I'll just leave you with this. It's pretty easy to plan for what's next. It feels comfortable, it's linear. But the real question for any leader or strategist today is this. Are you really ready for what's possible?